welcome back to another episode of the Juan on Sack podcast. I'm gonna change the fucking name. The Balls on Balls podcast. Today we have a special guest with us. All my guests are special, but this one's extra special. We got Daniel with us once again for what, the third, fourth, fifth time. I think
it's like the fourth time. If I forgot already, but yeah, one of those times. Yeah,
one of those times. And we were just talking about how it always seems that either some political unrest or some crazy false flag event is happening every time we do a podcast episode. And dude, I want to get straight to the point with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to ask you a question that I've been thinking a lot about lately. And I don't know if you can answer it. If you don't feel comfortable answering it, that's fine. But I need to know.
Go for it. You know me, man. You know me. I'm fine with anything.
Listen to me. This is serious stuff. All right, Daniel.
All right.
This is serious stuff. Don't laugh.
I'm not.
Listen. And this is going to be crazy, bro.
Go for it.
Is Nicolas Cage part of the child pedophile ring?
That is a very tough question that I don't know if I want the answer to, bro. I really don't know if I want the answer to that question.
I've been on this spree of watching Nicolas Cage movies, bro. And he's such a great actor. You know what I mean? He's such a great actor.
He's a character in all his stuff. It's amazing. You remember how we saw Color Out of Space?
Yeah.
There's a moment. You ever heard of his movie Vampire's Kiss, where he acts like a vampire and all that stuff?
No,
bro.
I'm sure it's fucking great.
It's one of the. I don't know if you've ever searched up like his scenes and the stuff that he's known for like his overacting and whatnot. That's a movie. Vampire's Kiss is a movie where he's straight up like, I never misfile anything, not one time. A B C D E.
Oh, that's that meme.
That's meme, yes.
That's a meme.
The one where he's like, where he does the crazy eyes.
Yeah.
And shit. That's where that movie is from. That's that movie, Vampire's Kiss. And in that movie, he talks with like a little bit of a flow of like this, blah, blah, blah. And in Color Out of Space, I found this out through an interview he did. He said that he is related. He based that character in Color Out of Space. He says, oh, because dad never said that. Dad said, oh, I did it. He did that character as if it was the son of another character that he played as.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
He said it with a straight face, and like the guy interviewing him was like, mm-hmm. And I'm like, bro, my mind is blown right now, and I'm like, this guy doesn't know Nick Cage movies. Oh my god, I would have.
He's done a lot, bro. He's done a lot because he's in debt, right?
Yeah. He's done a lot because he's been in debt. He's got like, I don't know how many houses. He got married and divorced within like the same day or like a day or two. I don't remember the story. That guy's life is insane, dude.
Have you seen the latest one, Pig, yet? Have you seen that one yet?
I have not seen Pig. That one's queued up and I have to see it at some point. I've just been working too much, bro. There's barely enough time in the day to just sit down and watch a Nick Cage movie. Those were the good days, damn it. Just what kind of shit show did he make this time? Click.
Let's see here. How many movies has he in? Movies amount. Let's see. Over 100 movies, bro.
Bro.
Over 100. That's a lot of movies. But then he was out buying dumb ass shit. Let's see his net worth. He was. Did he buy? He bought like an Egyptian sarcophagus. Fucking an Egyptian esophagus.
If I blow into this esophagus,
look at this.
Hear what he sounds like.
Holy shit! Now worth around $25 million as of May 2017. Yeah. Cage is reportedly taking film roles left and right in order to pay off his remaining debts.
So, if we look right here on his IMDb page, he still has an untitled Joe Exotic project, right?
Oh, he's God.
Another untitled Nicolas Cage Amazon Studios project that got announced called apparently Lord Highfire, whatever that is.
What?
And another one called Retirement Plan and Butcher's Crossing, which is in pre-production and post-production as we speak.
Oh, it's based on a book. The Highfire is based on a book.
Okay, gotcha. This
Looks
guy's been
interesting.
in so much stuff, bro. Like just scrolling down and seeing everything. I'm like, I know of a few movies here and there. Left Behind, Outcast. I remember watching. Joe was actually a good movie to watch.
Oh, it's gonna be a TV series, bro. The High Fire.
The High Fire one.
And it's
Yep.
gonna be voice acting.
Yeah. No, this guy's done so much stuff, bro. I don't know. He's like one of those actors that, as much as you see him in like some piss poor projects, there's a couple in there. There's like diamonds in the rough where you just go, no way, he made that. That's awesome.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think, dude, over 100 movies. You're gonna tell me? Well, okay. This can go either or. This can go either way. I think maybe the reason he's been in so many movies is maybe because he doesn't want to go into that world, right? Into the world of the elites, if you know what I mean, right? And that's why he's, you know what I mean? Like, that's why he's, or else he would have the role that's gonna make him, and like that'll be all he's known for, right?
I think it's weird because in that world, right? Like once you get that Academy Award or you've made it to like the top of the mountain, at that point it's like you could pretty much do whatever. And most of the time what actors do is that they end up directing projects, they become producers, they end up becoming more behind the scenes people than they are on set. But what's funny about Nick Cage is that he doesn't really like playing that role. He just wants to keep doing movies and doing movies to no end. So you're like, damn, dude, what else are you gonna do, bro? Like, but it's different with Nick Cage because if you look at someone like, let's say, Steven Seagal, right? Steven Seagal was like prominent in like the early 90s. He had his few movies that were pretty good, Under Siege, Hard to Kill, or whatever. But after that, like he just hit a lull, and like that's where he's been the rest of the time. Like he came out with a few movies recently where all he's doing is just standing there. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna break your fucking neck, and then he just does that shit and whatever. But he doesn't do any action moves or nothing. He's just there. Whereas Nick Cage is busting his ass trying to make a fucking piss poor movie somewhat legible and good to watch. Like it's incredible, dude. Nick Cage is a workhorse, and I don't know. It is for the dead. I will say that, but he keeps it going. If he's still worth 25 million, right? You said 25 million.
That's as of 2017. So
damn,
that was some years back. But supposedly he blew 150 mil. That's a lot of fucking money.
Bro, 150 million. Like, what would you do with that money, bro?
150 million? I wouldn't be doing this fucking podcast, I'll tell you that much. I'd be chilling, bro. It's like,
how about you interview me?
Let's get into it. And I don't know if you want to plug your socials for the 3 people listening to this fucking shit. You can plug your socials in so people can find it. I'll put those in the show notes.
So if you want to find me anywhere, it's
or book you for a music gig here in Florida, bro.
Right, exactly. Yeah, at Daniel Rockstar. That's Daniel RCKSTR. You can find me anywhere. I've done Twitch streams. I've done podcasts. I've done multitude of things. It's just responsibilities get in the way, and I hate that sometimes, bro. Don't you hate that sometimes? Where you're like, yo, I got to do this, and then it's like, crap, you got like this to do and this to do. There's not enough hours in the day, bro. Working a full-time job and doing stuff like outside of here, it's like, oh, it's such a demanding role. But then again, I'm the type of person that takes on too many projects, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I take on way too much shit.
I have a problem with hyperfixation. I really do. And dude, I totally get you, bro. I stopped this podcast for 7 months because of obviously life got in the way.
Yeah.
And what was I gonna say? What's that one thing in Family Guy? What really grinds my gears?
What really grinds my gears? Yeah.
What really grinds my gears is that, check this out. I just came across this on Reddit. You really can't make this shit up, bro. You can't.
Oh no.
The leader of the Taliban has a Twitter account, and the former president of the United States does not. How does that make you feel? Are we in a simulation or what?
Okay, so because we've already mentioned it earlier, like how these historical events just tend to happen whenever we decide to do an episode. Like the last one I remember we did was the whole thing after Trump, though, in January, I think it was. Because we just talked about everything and just a shit show that happened.
Just went like this fucking rabbit hole of
politics. Yeah, and then and what's interesting now is like not only are you just seeing this happening in Afghanistan, you like taking my perspective, for example, and mind you, like I could go into this like fully in depth, but just to kind of leave it short and sweet, like in Colombia, there's been an uproar of the government wanting, the people wanting the government to be replaced. It's looking like it's going towards communism. It's looking like they're trying to do some
Colombia?
revolution. Yeah, dude.
Really?
It's not being reported on. My parents went back in around like close to like May, and they were there for a month. And in that month that they were there, the country went into lockdown, not only because of COVID, but they wanted to pass some laws that were apparently raising the taxes. They weren't stopping collecting money from the people, and people weren't working because everybody had these restrictions and all these zones and all this stuff. And people just felt like they were tired. They were tired, and there was an uproar, and there were protests. There was a lot of burnings, a lot of stuff going on over there. And a lot of people just, got tired, got out of the house, went to protest. My parents had to like reschedule their flight back because of how bad things got. A lot of people were looking to get out of the country, and a lot of people were just trying to just start some shit, just burning property and everything.
Have you listened to one of the latest episodes? I listen to Joe Rogan less now, but have you listened to one of his latest episodes, the one with the little Korean?
I've seen clips here and there. I haven't.
Forget her name is something April or something like that.
The last couple I've checked out from Joe Rogan was the one where we had Dave Chappelle and Quentin Tarantino. Those two were my favorites.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Yeah.
The whole thing with her was, and honestly, bro, I think it's probably, if not his best episode, aside from the Alex Jones ones, which are always going to be number one.
Yeah.
It's probably up there. It's like probably top 5 best episodes that he's done. And what she does is she goes into depth in North Korea, what's actually happening there. And it's pretty much a genocide. And I've done episodes on North Korea on Strange Ones with my buddy Tom. And yeah, it's all jokes and shit, because we more like a comedy conspiracy podcast type of thing. But this is real. This is real. And there is, what pisses me off about people here in the States when they talk about oppression and they talk about how they feel targeted and all this shit. There's actual places where there's actual real oppression, where the government will literally, there is no protesting, there is no speaking your mind. You do as you're told and you like it. And there's actually people who experience that every day. And then people come here, and because the president tweeted something that made my nipples hurt, the cancel culture. There is no fucking such thing in these other places, that people have no say to what happens to them, or they have no control, and people take for advantage our this democracy that we live in the beautiful country that we do live in, aside from all the bullshit that's going on right now. And that's why with the whole COVID and all this other bullshit, that's fine. It's a real thing. Don't get me wrong. I know people who have gone to the hospital. I know a lot of people who have died from COVID. It's a real thing. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm anti-mandate. Don't be fucking forcing things on people. For what? Oh, because if you're so fucking concerned that you're going to get a virus that you're vaccinated against, you're concerned about getting it from me. Aren't you vaccinated for the virus to be? You know what I mean? What's the point? Yeah. So I asked somebody, right? Yeah. I said, because they were bringing up being vaccinated and how we're going to, they're talking about needing vaccine reports for going interstate, right, here in the U.S. Right? I didn't know this was Schindler's List all of a sudden. Yeah, right. So I get you, yeah. So they're like, oh yeah, I have no problem because I'm vaccinated, and I'm like, they're making people feel like this is you're a hero for getting
right. Like you're someone.
I'm better than you. Yeah, because I'm vaccinated. It's like, whoa. I said, I responded to the person. I said, do you know what it feels like to be a lab rat? I'm sorry. You do know what it feels like to be a lab rat, because by the way, the actual term for it is immunity booster. It's not a vaccine because it's not FDA approved. Okay.
It's not.
So
It's not.
excuse me while I whip out this long ass list of things I don't trust the government with, because they also brought up the fact that I took vaccines when I was a kid. Pretty much, I had no choice, but I have freedom of choice now. And guess what, dude? Did you see that report in Australia? They're gonna vaccinate 24,000 kids.
I saw you posted about that. Yeah.
Without their parents being able to be there. How creepy is that shit?
It's bad optics. It looks like something that
it's not a good look. I'm gonna tell you
it's not a good look. And so taking it step by step, right? For me, I can understand where I've had many conversations with people about why either they don't want to take the vaccine. I took the vaccine. But
God,
one of the biggest,
listen, Daniel.
Listen.
When you guys become
fucking
zombies,
fucking reptiles,
or lizards, or whatever the fuck you're gonna become, I'll make sure to personally go to your house and put you out of your fucking misery. Have you, dude? You're a movie buff. Do you not remember the plot to I Am Legend?
Of course, I Am Legend. Of course. So
I'm gonna shut the podcast off right now.
Thank you guys. See you next time. No, so my dilemma in all this, right, is that I'm still living with my family, with my folks. They're in their mid-60s. They have their health conditions, high blood pressure. My mom has that hereditary trait of like diabetes and stuff like that. And, my dad he had a stroke in like early 2013. And, there's plenty of things there that had me very unsure. And throughout 2020, I wasn't able to do much at all. Like I used to do music gigs. I used to go out with people. I used to do so many things. And then I was practically just homebody and then go to work, back home, work, back home. And a lot of the trouble I was having was, even if I do go out, right? Because for us younger folk, it's like we can at least kind of fight it a bit, you know what I mean? Like we're not gonna be at a worse odds, right? But for my folks, I was really worried, and they ended up agreeing to take the vaccine. And then they asked me, what did you want to do? Me and my conscience and the way that I look at things, it's not a matter of religion. It's not a matter of like how do I say this? Like it's just that bit of me where I was like, if something happens, right? God forbid something happens and like I get it and doesn't hit me that bad, but then one of them gets it. You know what I mean? Like, and the worst comes to happen. That's where, to me at that point, I don't know how I would come to feel about that. And I know I'm just getting like real deep about it right now, but like, it's just, that's the part that sucks, right? Like if I was living on my own, if I was like doing my own thing, I was very doubtful about it, especially on the day that I went to get the first dose. Because it literally outlines for you, like in 7 different pages, it says, this has not been approved by the FDA. And that was my biggest problem with this from the begining.
Imagine the shit that they approve is already bad enough as is.
Imagine
some shit that they haven't approved.
That's what I mean. And it's like, they're mass producing it, putting it out there. And a lot of people, I felt like if this was something approved, right? And this was something that was going to come out anyway, then and just put the seal of approval on it. And a lot of people would have been like, you know what? It's an option, right? But we're not going to politicize it. We're not going to do this. We're going to do that. But they end up weaponizing the whole thing. Oh, no,
baby. We did all that shit and more.
We did all that shit and more.
We did all that shit and more. And dude, and I get you, right? I get you because my dad had a heart attack 7 months ago, 8 months ago. So my dad has MS. My dad's diabetic. My dad's all fucked up, right?
Yeah.
And I get you. But at the end of the day, I mean, I don't live with him, but I do go visit him.
Yeah.
Hey, he got the vaccine because his doctor said, if you get COVID, you're gonna die. That's what his doctor said. If you get COVID, you're gonna die.
Right.
So guess what? He's post heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
If right now, if you have some sort of cancer, right? May Nicolas Cage, prohibit that, right? Because all hail fucking Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage, yeah.
So if you have some sort of cancer, right, and it's terminal, and obviously we all know that even money can't buy you life because what was the dude's name from Apple? was it Steve Jobs?
Steve Jobs.
He
Yeah,
died of cancer, brother. One of the richest men in the world died of cancer. Even money couldn't save him, right?
Money couldn't save him. No.
So right now, if you have some sort of terminal illness and there is absolutely nothing else you can do, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. If they tell me, hey, you have a 50% chance of when you eat cow shit, you might get rid of your cancer.
Right.
Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm probably gonna eat cow shit, right? If I have no other choice, I'm just gonna try.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into the whole metrics and all this shit, but it's got a very high survivability rate, right? For the healthy people who aren't, who don't have underlying conditions, it's got a high rate. So what I think is what I've talked about before on my podcasts, it's called Memetic Occultism. And what they do is they use propaganda. They use propaganda to speak to people's soul in a deeper way. Because if you notice how people are acting nowadays, it's almost like, as of lately, right? And I've noticed this, and I didn't know if it was me or if it was what it was, right? We all get depressed sometimes, right? Like, I think we all get sad in the hustle and bustle. It's like, fuck, what am I doing? Where am I gonna go? What, why do I? You just get tired with life.
Exactly, yeah.
For a little while, I've been feeling a bit down, right? Like the energy's off, and like for me, like time is slower, right? It's like this weird vibe that's going on in the world right now, that's just throwing everything off. Because if you see how people act, bro, it's almost like this cult mentality. Like it's almost literally like hordes of zombies, quite figuratively, and maybe perhaps literally soon enough we will see. Come here 2 years from now, whoever took the vaccine, we'll see what's left.
Later.
No. But I get you, bro. I get why you did it, and I get I get your reasoning.
I'll be honest. Looking at it too, like everybody's like human body's different, right?
Yeah, no
so
shit.
Depending on what, exactly. Depending on what you eat, depending on how you are, and like what you've suffered from, or what are the hereditary traits, right? That your family and stuff of like health concerns and whatever, all that stuff kind of like factors into it as well. I just like seen recently, of course, not saying names, not mentioning anything in particular, but like seeing 2 different cases where somebody who had the vaccine go through getting COVID and just getting over it, like if it was just the flu, compared to somebody else who didn't take it and now they're in the hospital. It's like right, like it kind of adds,
but there's
to
plenty inverse of those too.
Exactly, and that's what I was getting to. It's like then you look at it at the other way around and you're like, so what's the whole point of this vaccine?
Listen,
what's
dude,
the point of that?
what I think it is, and if the government wants to track you, they're already doing it. Okay,
bro, we got phones.
I hate to break it to you, but actually, I mean, if you want to stop that, go ahead and just insert your phone in your fucking ass, and you'll make that stop. But hear me out. The whole what I think is happening. I don't know what the fuck's happening. I'm gonna be honest, but check this out. What if I don't want to say it, but what if it's part of like revealing the aliens or some shit, dude? I don't know.
But they already revealed it in some way. The government came out and said, "Hey,
they already said shit that we knew."
And
Come on, give me the good shit.
Nobody.
I want the fucking pictures of the interdimensional grays going through a fucking portal, and I want a gray on CNN. Talking telepathically to me through the fucking TV. I want that. I want
that shit, bro.
There are unidentified objects flying in our airspace.
No shit.
Yeah.
We know that.
No shit. I've known that since I was like in the 7th grade. What are you talking about, man? You know what I mean?
I want an alien to just kind of like, or whatever being it is, to know that like they've already seen enough of the internet, or just enough of us in general, to just like flip us off on screen, just like a straight middle finger, just like, and we're like, it understands us. It knows who we are.
But in all seriousness,
Yeah,
it's like it's a social experiment, is what it is.
it,
Have you
it
ever
feels.
seen?
Yeah, go ahead.
What's that movie? It's actually with the guy from, what's his name, Adrian Brody.
Yeah, which one are you talking
The
about?
and it's based on a true story. It's like a prison experiment. Let me see what it is. Where they give authority to, I think it was like the guards, and then they it's like a social experiment to where they go. The movie is literally called The Experiment. So in 2010, and the movie, I'm gonna read the Experiment. That's literally the name. Is a 2010 American drama thriller filmed by Paul, starring Adrian Brody and a bunch of people. And then it's an experiment which resembles Philip Zimbardo's Sanford prison experiment. And that was some social psychological experiment influenced by the Milgram experiment that
I see.
attempted to investigate the psychological effects of perceived power. And it was focusing on the struggle between prisoners. And that's what I feel. And that's what a lot of different ancient scriptures talk about, right? They talk about us pretty much being a fucking experiment. In the book of Enoch, when Enoch is among the angels and just chilling up in heaven with the one or God, whatever, they're looking down on earth and going, wow, like, look at this. This is a fucking what is this? Oh, this is just, pretty much an experiment for God to see. Hey, and then we fly our angels down sometimes and we fuck them, and then we come right back up, and then we make like demigod babies, right?
Yeah.
That's what I feel it is. That it's some sort of experiment, and maybe it goes deeper than that, right? Maybe it
I
is
think
how a religious experiment, experience.
right, like something especially in terms of experience and just like a whole like shift, not just in culture but in the way of just like your viewpoints and your perspective on things, right? I think especially looking at what we were talking about earlier, it's talking about Afghanistan or Colombia or just any of these countries that are going through some type of like political shift or some type of cultural movement where people are just fed up, right? Like you look at here, and of course our problems are completely different than what other countries are, but even in small doses, right? People want to get paid more, people want, to earn more, but the situation in which they're in doesn't allow them to have that growth, right? Unless you really go out there and you like, start your own business or you try to do something on your own. Like if you're trying to work commercially through something, like it's probably not gonna give you enough to continue your growth unless you're working like 2-3 jobs and driving yourself absolutely insane, which a lot of people do, right? And other people that just want to make enough money now to say like, hey, I want to make $15 an hour now flipping burgers. And then all the doctors and all the people, all the federal people that work, these more lucrative jobs, right? That they're like, I have to really put myself out there and put my mental stability on check constantly. Now I'm going to get paid, even if I'm salary or whatever, it's like, these people are going to be making just roughly about the same now. Like, where's my increase, right? Everybody's going to want that. It's so to me, it's ridiculous.
That's the
like,
thing,
I just
though,
kind of
dude.
want to say it, like everything that comes with economy, especially towards like, let's say here, because I'll just relate it to us right here in this state, here in our area. If people want to tell me, well, I can't, afford an apartment just flipping burgers and stuff, I'm like, yeah, then why did you come to the tourist capital of the world where all is just going to be like it retails, flipping burgers and all that? Like, you got to seek other opportunities. You got to get elsewhere, right? Unless you're working construction, some type of industrial job or something, like you're not going to get what you're looking for working the basic stuff, because the basic bare minimum is going to give you just that. Like,
well, that's the thing, bro. So I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, because at the end of the day, everything and anything that we do, for example, money, currency, is we give value to that. We give it
Yeah,
value.
yeah.
Who in the 1970s they passed a law where it didn't need to be backed by gold, but back then currency used
Yeah,
to be
was to be
backed by
backed by gold.
gold,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
After that, in the 1970s, the Fed could print as much money as they wanted to,
Yeah, which
and
they
we
continue to
give,
do anyway.
yeah, we
Yeah.
give value so much to these things that if we all, again, it's a thought experiment. If we all came together and said, "Hey, what makes the president the president?" What, that
Yeah.
a bunch of people collectively agreed on it,
Mm-hmm.
right? That you believe. Why do they respect him? Oh, because you respect. He's the president of the United States. Well, what do you mean?
Well, and not
Like,
only
that's like telling
that,
an extraterrestrial, you want to meet the president? Who the fuck's that?
like
They're not gonna
I've
know.
just to kind of like throw in a little comment with that too. It's like I've recently got into looking at certain YouTube videos. I like to follow certain people that have like different
Oh, you have a
political
YouTube
opinions.
diploma? Fucking tell me more.
Hey. So with this guy, there's a guy who just kind of goes through about like different videos, right? And it's different like political YouTubers out there that they're like, oh, why is this president good or why is this president bad, et cetera, et cetera. And the one thing that stood out to me about what that guy said was, look, at the end of the day, whatever you try to say about a certain president, it's not just about the one guy. You're talking about the administration, you're talking about Congress, you're talking about the Senate, everything all together, collectively together, the government working itself out that just so happen to do certain decisions, pass certain laws, and who just happened to be the person in power of that? So and so, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's not just a one-man show, and a lot of people get that perspective skewed because of course the media will just say whatever they're going to say. It's that whole cult mentality and the whole like you're with me or against me type of thing that they've been spewing.
Well, now
out
it's
for
the
forever.
vaccinated versus the unvaccinated.
Yeah, right. So
and
it's
I don't
like,
know, dude, but you do know that Hitler claimed the Jews had a certain disease in order to make them all go into the trains, right? That's how they fucking
yeah, like
started
that's the thing. Like people will start getting into these extreme approaches when it comes to this because now they're gonna say, and one of the things that I kind of related to is just, and even not going to like the whole like Hitler similarities or any of that. I'm just like even like the bare bones kids in school, right? if like you and I both know, and I'm not sure how like everybody else knows, you're not really required to say that you got vaccinated or not at
to
your
make you
workplace.
sign some papers, right?
No, not really. I don't think it's really either. There's some type of legality towards it or
It's
something.
HIPAA.
Yeah, HIPAA. Yes, there we go, HIPAA. So there was someone that I know that told me that one of their teachers at their kid's school had got COVID, and now they were pretty worried because they're like, well, is everybody else vaccinated? Like, how are they operating this? And my instant thought is, well, they're not going to tell you. Like, why would they tell you? They're not.
Luckily for you, I identify as fully vaccinated, so we're a-okay.
We're a-okay.
I identify as you know what I mean? Yeah, no, but it's fucked up, bro.
It's pretty wild because even so, like if I had a kid, right, and this is just me talking, like I don't have a kid, I don't know what that feels like, right? Like if they're gonna tell me you have to send your kid to school, I'm just gonna say fuck that. I'll do homeschool, virtual school. I don't care what it is.
You have the option
because you think you have the option. Not only that, it's like you think I'm gonna trust some snot-nosed brat who doesn't know a shit about like hygiene or anything, that he's gonna maintain a clean fucking behavior about himself. Fuck no, dude. Like, dude, you and I, we grew up. We knew each other since middle school. We were growing up and seeing that, bro. Kids can be disgusting. Teenagers are fucking gross. People are gross. And that shit's not gonna be pristine. Like, oh yeah, look how clean everything. No, that's not gonna happen. So I don't blame people for getting angry at that. I don't blame people for being like, oh, well, why are they doing this then? And it's like, well, shit, just keep them home.
It's like everybody's mad at DeSantis, right, for not enforcing the mask mandate. Guess what? You're fucking kids and you can wear a mask if you want. And no, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, but what happens is they've made it to where it's like I'm better than you because I got my vaccine.
I think
And I'm
also,
not saying everybody, but you know what I mean? Like the
yeah,
majority.
yeah,
The shit that I read on the internet, especially, it seems like everybody's like, I was on Reddit the other night and it was like some
yeah.
guy was like, I fucking hate unvaccinated people. I hate them with all my heart. Like people are legitimately hating and having this feeling and these
Well,
feelings towards
I've
people who aren't back. It's like pride and prejudice.
yeah,
What is that? Pride and
yeah.
prejudice or
No,
whatever the fuck.
like it's just it's that whole like you're with me or against me mentality too. I think the problem was when they started opening things back up and letting people back into certain public events and
You can
stuff
now
like
wear
that.
your mask, and then next week, hey,
Yeah,
put your fucking mask
but you're
back on.
fucking yeah. So that's where my problem
But
is
doesn't that
with,
show you right there, bro, that the government doesn't know what the fuck's happening?
Well,
Everybody
that's
says
what I'm
trust the
saying.
science, but
Well, that's
the
what I'm
science doesn't know
saying.
where it
And
stands.
even with DeSantis, whether you're with him or not, right? Like, or to whoever's listening, whether you're with him or not, it's like he falls into that same category too, because nobody knows what the fuck is happening, right? Disney doesn't really have like capacity towards their parks or anything like that. Whereas before, when shit was like serious and nobody truly knew what the fuck was going on, there was like half capacity, barely any
Yeah.
capacity. Fuck everybody, we're not doing shit. Like that's how quick it was. That's how quick it was. We're not letting anybody in, and that's Disney, bro. As soon as Disney locks up their doors, that's when people go, "Oh shit!" Like, because there's a more
Yeah.
money hungry people than
They were shut
anybody
down
out
for a
there.
while too, for a minute.
Yeah. So
But fuck
you
those
know,
lizards. They deserve it.
but the theme parks and all that stuff, like this is the way I start to see it, right? Because you know me, I like looking into shit and taking like putting myself in other people's shoes and how to see it. If I'm a company, right? And I have my employees, and they just so happen, then like take away the political aspect of it, take away the religious beliefs, whatever,
Never.
what have you, right? Right, never. But but then some of them start getting COVID, and then they end up becoming some type of liability. Now
Yeah.
you as a company, as the head of your company, has to answer for that, because now it's, oh, you got COVID. My husband got COVID in your facility, right? In your property under your watch. Now you have to pay for that. It's like companies are gonna start going like, well, we're gonna have to cut down on a bunch of shit, right? Industry wide, there's been shortage of so much supplies, so much material. Bro, I'll tell you firsthand, based off what I work, right? We've had so much shortages and so many things that have not been produced, and Disney is trying to just work overhaul on so many things. Hey, we're doing this again, we're touching up on paint here, we're doing this, we're doing that. And it's like they're trying to set all these projects and trying to remodel and do all these things, but the material's not there for it. But Disney doesn't care because they'll just throw money around like it's nothing because they have so much money to spend. But like even like for what I got recently, like I mentioned to you like earlier before the episode, I got another guitar. There were certain things I wasn't able to get for a while.
Yeah.
And a guitar that I wanted for a while was one of them. Like they weren't being produced, things were just on short supply. There's a perfect video that showcases why that has been happening, because I saw it on forgot the name of the page, but basically what they were saying is because of the shortages and what companies have been doing on the west side of the country, on like California, there's like 2 entry points, like 2 docks, like main docks, where they get a bunch of like imports and stuff like that, and the import export and all the trading and all the shit that happens through it. They're operating on like half of their staff. And we're talking about
Well,
an
dude,
immense
so
facility, bro. And
here's
things
the
are not
thing.
going through quickly,
It's what I tell people. Plywood has gone up in a crazy amount, like 280% or 300%,
Yeah.
some crazy shit,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Trees aren't growing any slower. You can still
Mhm.
get wood. You can still get the chemicals to make paint, right? You can still
Yeah.
get all these things. It's just like you said, the labor is short. There's not enough people to make the wood fast enough.
Yeah.
Therefore, supply and demand, it goes up, but it's like an artificial demand. It's an
Mhm.
artificial demand or like supply crunch, because it's
Yeah.
not that there's no trees to cut to make the
It's
plywood or
just
the
not
machining.
enough people
It's just not
getting
enough
moving the stuff
people.
around. Yeah.
And so people are like, oh well, it's inflation's transitory. It's like, no, it's here to stay, because they're fucking
Yeah.
paying. What was it, yesterday or this morning? I think 5 million jobless claims Again, you know what it is? 5 million people aren't
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
Five fucking million. They're getting paid $16 an hour to stay their ass at home while you're waking up every morning and going into work and working your ass off and exposing yourself, right? Potentially.
Yep.
While they sit at home. And it's okay to milk the system, but at the end of the day, we were in Afghanistan for 20 years. For 20 years, our taxpayer money was funding this. For what? Yesterday
And you gotta,
is done. All that money for what? Because again, it's and people don't like, oh, it's a conspiracy. It's the fucking elites, whether they're reptiles or not. They're the ones playing this game, and they all launder money with each other. And how are you going to tell me a public servant that makes $200,000 a year, $240,000 a year, how the fuck they have a net worth of 50 million and have X amount of properties and X amount of money from a public servant job?
yeah.
That's ridiculous. How do you go from being president making $400,000 a year to then boom, over $100 million?
Oh, because of all their connections and all the other lobbying that they do for all the
It's
other companies out there, bro.
It's all
It's
a
all
game,
corrupted.
bro.
Yeah, it's all
It's
corrupted.
all a game. It's a program. And I don't know if you've been seeing, like, I've seen a few videos already of it, of like glitches in the Matrix, and it's like people who aren't acting the way they should because they say there's a conspiracy theory that says that some people are NPCs and some, some others are like players, and we're just
Yeah, they're the
avatars
main characters. Yeah, and others are NPCs and stuff. You're
Yeah,
not a
and it's like
protagonist.
I saw one this morning. It was
Yeah.
like a cop, like just like he was just, and the guy's like, "Am I?" He's like, "Am I doing anything wrong, officer?" And the guy's just like,
He's just looking at him.
it's like he was rebooting in the cloud or some shit. I don't fucking know.
Oh Lord. See, the thing that's interesting with Afghanistan also, it's just like you said, for 20 years, right? All the
20
stuff
years,
that
bro.
even more
And guess
than
what?
that.
Hey,
Because
dude,
they
I'm
were
gonna say
there
it.
since like 90s and like late 80s.
I'm gonna say it. It
Mhm.
wasn't Trump's fault or Biden's fault. You know who the fuck got us into Afghanistan? It was Bush, you fucking idiots. And here you are trying to blame Trump or Biden.
Dude, I saw some people already throw in the Trump thing there. And it's like, to me, what people fail to realize is that they keep connecting shit to recent because it's like that's all they know is the recent, and they don't know the history. They don't know the things that have happened before, right? Why did we go to Afghanistan, right? In like 2001, what was like the big like uproar about it? It was 9/11. And everyone at that time, whatever of what we know now, it's like back then, it's like the way that your sights were just boom, we need revenge, we got to kick some ass, they're not getting away with this. And the way that the narrative was spun was, hey, it's over here, Afghanistan, yeah, we're going there. Hey, how about Iraq? It's pretty fucked up what they're doing over there, right? And it's like, wait, what and it's like slowly but surely everything kept happening, and then people, like, as time went on, right, over the last 10-15 years, it's like, okay, something's not right here, something's not right. And with the flow of information and everything that has come up, bro, it feels like now every day something happens and immediately you know about it, you know what I mean? Like, that's just how crazy things have gotten now. It's one of the things I wanted to add with, like, especially with like medicine as well, right? I was listening to a podcast I listened to. They're not political or nothing. They were just talking, and they just so happened to start talking about the vaccines and everything. And one of the guys said, it's really odd how, I got a surgery, let's say like 7-8 years ago for his leg, right? Left him a pretty gnarly scar after he got it. Everything came out fine. He got operated on the leg. Come to find out, like, a coworker, somebody he knew, like, ended up getting some type of like surgery done as well, and you don't even see anything, like just a little line. It's like what the surgery was now. And it's like pretty much how things keep innovating and how it keeps upgrading is such a rapid rate, which is why I feel like some people just are completely unsure or have that negative feeling towards, or that attitude towards the vaccines and towards medicine in general. Because it's like, dude, technology keeps evolving, fucking medicine keeps going all over the place. We still don't know what the fuck is going on around the world because just everything is at an uproar. Everything that happened ever since 2020 has just halted the world, right? Everything has stopped. And in most ways, the thing that I see is just like you said, you think it's like you see this as like an experience, as like some type of experiment, right? Something going on. And I feel a lot of people, and I know you might feel a different way about it, but I feel like a lot of people are not only just waking up to just certain things happening here, because I've seen so many interesting discussions, so many cool like things out there where people are just like, hey, this is not a way to live a life. You know what I mean? This is not a way
Oh yeah, I
that we
agree with
should
you.
be, you know what I'm saying? Like this,
No.
this shouldn't be what we should be doing all the time.
But here's the thing, bro. You're talking
Mhm.
about trusting the science and trusting the powers that be.
Not
The
always. Not always.
that's
Like
the thing.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's
That
crazy how the innovation happens, but at the same time, how does that get weaponized, right? How does that
the
get
trust
turned
doesn't go
against
up with the
everybody?
innovation. It's like inverse.
Exactly.
But
Yep.
the reason it's inversed is because the government has fucked people before in the past. History
Always.
doesn't repeat,
Always,
but it
man.
often rhymes, right?
Yeah.
And that's what people are scared of, that maybe perhaps they're using this to weaponize it or whatever,
Yeah.
because the powers that be, that's just the way it is. I mean, if it's an occultic practice or whatever it is, that's just the way it's been. And unfortunately, the poor and the lower class always get the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
And I firmly do believe that there is this cabal of elites that run everything, and they fund it, and they cause it's got a name, something dialectic, I forget. It's like a
Mhm.
problem solution, and then it starts, like that cycle, you know what I'm talking about. It's like they present
Okay.
a problem,
Yeah.
then they present
Yeah.
a solution, then they solve it, and then it just because it's always like it's something, right? If it's not one thing, it's the other. If it's not who's going to be president, it's what the fuck the president was tweeting. Or
Yeah.
it's like right now it's all about, what has it been lately? Obviously COVID, and that the elections were stolen, right? That's
Yeah.
all it's been. That's all,
Yeah.
going back and forth. Like,
And if
this shit
not,
is
then it's
happening.
like, hey, let's find some dirt on somebody for some shit they did like
Yeah,
years
it's
ago.
all, again, it's all like this game, like this TV show. It's like the Truman Show, bro. Honestly,
Yeah, I love the Truman Show, and it's scary how like accurate that shit is, because it's
like,
true.
can you imagine how trippy that would be? Like, what the, the hell?
Fucking camera.
Where'd that light come from?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
again,
exactly.
who's to know if it's not really like that? What if?
Mhm.
Who's to know if you're gonna fucking wake up, and what's the Morpheus actor?
Oh, Lawrence Fishburne just wakes, like he's like there
Can
waiting.
you imagine, like, he
Waiting.
wakes you up and it's like, hey, come with me, and how crazy that would be,
And you're
dude.
just like, welcome. You're like,
Yeah,
what
like,
the
welcome.
fuck?
It's like, he's like, wait, so none of this is real. What is real, right? And he fucking breaks it down.
He does the part with with the martial arts training. He's like, hit me as hard as you can.
It's like, I
You're
know
like, what the
karate.
fuck? I know kung fu.
I know kung fu. Yeah. So again,
Yeah.
it's. I honestly think it's some sort of experiment where we're just
I find it
living
so
in.
interesting too. Like, it's such a. I think maybe because with us, we were part of a different generation, at least born into a decade where, well, I was born in 93. You were what, 94?
Yeah, 94.
Yeah, 94. It's like our generation, at least in the sense of like the group that we were born with, right? We experienced like the tail end of what it meant to be like having the technology and its bare bones material, right? And into like the beginning stages of like cell phones and smartphones and everything, and having it evolve to where it is now.
When phones had keyboards.
Yes, exactly, right? Or like different things where you just don't, you just kind of take that shit for granted, because you just look at it now and you just go, damn, we had a lot of different things than what kids are born with now,
Yeah.
right? And it's crazy because like I could just imagine what a kid's like definition of fun would probably be, right? Like with us, it's like, fuck, dude, like you were there. All we did was ride bikes, stand in front of
Play
a
Halo
fucking
2.
play Halo 2, stand in front of an electrical box and just talk about crap all day.
Maybe that's the cure to COVID. If all the people that got the radiation from those boxes, it's paying
right?
off right now.
It's paying off right now. But like my point is, it's like there's such a, it's so what I was saying earlier, it's like that whole cultural thing where it's like each generation goes through it, right? Like 1960s, right? What was like the summer of love and like the peace
And
out,
black,
dude,
and not hating
everybody,
black people.
not yeah, the civil
Don't be a
rights
fucking
movement.
racist.
Civil rights movement. We're going to Vietnam and all this cultural shift that was like, no, fuck that, right? It led to the 70s. And in the 70s, there was like more of a change in media with the movies, and everything was more like grimy and just fucking out there. And you had movies like Taxi Driver. You had movies that just, they were relentless, right, with what they put out there. In the 80s, everybody just went fucking ham and just, fuck it, that's a line of coke, I'm gonna do 5, fuck it, you know, and everybody just went crazy with it. And the music as well, bro, like the experimentation going on in the 80s, and like all these people that came before us to do what they did, right? That they just had that third eye open, or of any kind, right? Like they just had that moment of just realizing, fuck, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to enjoy doing that. It's like, how do you define the last 10 or 20 years of that, right? What defines that? What defines that generation? What defines our generation, where it's like, for me, obviously for us, like we weren't around to experience like throughout the 90s fucking Kurt Cobain and Nirvana, and that whole age of rebellion that led to like movies like The Matrix and stuff like that, Fight Club, and that anti-authority, because everybody got tired of that shit. Everybody hated that already. They were like, no, fuck that, I won't do what you tell me, right? That type of attitude.
Speaking of Fight Club, bro, that movie's a mind fuck, dude. Like even rewatching it and knowing how it ends,
ends, yeah.
Wait, what? Like you still can't believe that that's like what happened, you know?
Yeah, but even in that movie, you see the messages that it's putting out there.
Exactly.
For you,
everybody's
right?
working that fucking 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And you just
exactly. All I think about is, what am I buying? Am I buying Starbucks? Am I buying the living room couch? Am I living this? Am I living my life by a catalog? And then you got
fucking
right?
Jeff Bezos just that stupid fucking laugh that he does. Lex Luthor laugh.
And it's crazy because like as much as like you say, right, like things are like a simulation, things like that, but there's always been those breadcrumbs of things out there, even in media, even in things that we don't trust now.
Symbols are the language to the soul. I've always said that there's a reason why they put all this shit into movies. How you're saying, you're hitting it right on the head. But again, it's this occult practice of did you know that Plato and Plato's The Republic, and again, a lot of things that were inspired by Plato, even The Matrix, got to do with Plato's the allegory of the cave. So Plato and the Plato's Republic, he talked about banning certain arts and musical notes, and he wanted to limit music because he knew the effect that the arts had on people. He knew the effect that music speaks to frequency speak to people on different levels. And even the arts, he said that by people seeing plays and whatnot, that they would get inspired, and it's almost like, you know, inspired to revolt against the government or do whatever. And again, this is crazy that the guy in the year 300 something was talking about this sort of stuff, and it's the same shit that we're
well, everybody else was just playing with sticks, staring at a fucking wall. This guy's like, what the hell is our purpose right here, dude? Right? Like, what are we doing? Right?
Let's see Jeff Bezos laugh here.
Oh god,
what the fuck?
Bro, that's not rich people laugh, man. Nobody believes me when I say it. I'm like, bro, rich people just have this distorted way in their behavior, in the ways that they laugh, the way that they talk, all that shit.
You gotta be a fucking weirdo when you're
you gotta be, because it's like,
look at Elon Musk.
Yeah, dude, it's like, dude, those people look at you and they just feel like you're beneath me. Right? It's like I'm a royalty. I'm this. I'm that. It's like, motherfucker, you're made of meat and bone, just like I am.
But that's what I was telling you earlier, bro. What gives those people value? Oh, because they have more pieces of paper than you do.
Yeah,
they made more money than you did.
That's how people put it out there.
You know what I mean?
They accept that message. They accept that rule, right? That
it's like, oh, that's Jeff Bezos. He's the richest man in the world.
Okay. Yeah, and
gonna go back.
He's got all these cars. He's got all that. It's like, all right.
You know what I mean? Like, like this fucking narrative that like I did an episode with my buddy Tony from the Third Dimension, and I named it "The American Illusion." And then on the cover, I put homeless person with the arrow where it says White House over here, because at the end of the day, bro, it's just like it's fucked up. But what do they say? One man's treasure is another man's
one man's trash is another man's treasure.
But there's another saying with like misery or whatever, like one man's da da da. Is there?
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean, though, right?
Yeah,
it's like, like one person's good fortune is another's misfortune or some shit like that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And if nobody's made that quote, then there I did.
And it's, bro, it comes down. I always believe to people that make it to that elite status and whatever, it's just such dumb luck, bro. It's such dumb luck too, because it's like you got.
No, I don't think it's luck, bro. I think it's. I think it's. I firmly believe that I think it's something that you can control, as long because, dude, the law of attraction. That's why I talk about that we live in a simulation, because it's been proven that the mind, by you looking at things, it has a different reaction by when you don't look at it. Look up the double slit experiment. Atoms act differently when they're being observed, almost as if they know that they're being observed, and they change in the way that they behave by you just, it's the observer effect. So right now, who's to know if when you're not looking, what there's actually really going on, you know what I mean, behind the scenes, whether it be some metaphysical aspect or not. And that's why I feel like a lot of the things of back then, the reason that they were so exaggerated and just different, and I'm talking about like ancient scriptures and the arts and whatever it is because it was a different time, because I feel people were that much more in tune with their oneness, right, their self.
And even to that point,
yeah,
like what's difficult about believing things so far in the past is that the victors are the ones who write the history.
His story.
Yeah,
that's what it's
his
called.
Story. Yeah, so it's like it's interesting, right? Because it's like you said, it's one of those things that you could believe that, but it's also one of those things that you look at and you go, well, how much of it is true and how much is not, right? Because that's the beauty of it, right? People talk about, oh, what happened in World War I, World War II. It's like, not everything's gonna get spelled out for you, because it's gonna follow a narrative, and it's gonna be whatever the victors say it was, right? Yeah. Same as with the ancient societies and like the Mayans or even like Aztecs or anything else. Whatever we found and whatever these people thought would happen, that's it. Right, we don't know what exactly happened, like down to the nitty gritty details.
But it's funny you're saying it, because back then, and that's the thing, right? Maybe it was his story. Back then, when they fucking wrote on rocks, they didn't just put any random shit on rocks.
No,
it had to be important, and it had to be straight to the point, because back then writing on rocks was hard and it was expensive, right? So it was so maybe perhaps they did leave some things out of the story. Imagine, like, it's like I'm pretty sure I've seen this in a movie sometimes. Like, okay, so how does the story start? Well, I burst through the door. No, I want it more epic. I ran through the door and I made a grand entrance. No, I want it fluffed up a little bit more.
A little more, a
little bit more. So
he floated from the skies.
His mighty wrath came through the door.
All the while, the guy's just knocking away at the rock
boner, right? His nipples were really hard. So that's the thing, dude. Who knows if it's this narrative fallacy where people needed to embellish things, but I just know it's a fucked up system and a fucked up world that we're in. Because how what pisses me off about people is, for the longest time, and this is all over the world, they call the U.S. the police of the world, right? Like, oh, they get involved where they're not supposed to be. And then some shit like how it's happening in Afghanistan. It's like, why aren't the Americans helping? It's like, what?
You just wanted them out of there. You wanted them out of there.
Yeah, you fucking complain about us being there, and then you don't. Then we're not there. Some shit pops out, and then you're complaining that we're not. It's like, damned if you. Well, how we always talked about, damned if you do, damned if you fucking don't.
It's like, you got to think about the children and this and that. It's like, you realize what they're doing to women and little girls over there, bro. Because those videos, you saw the videos that came out of that, right, with the plane and all that stuff. And you realize how like there's not many women there or many girls there you realize what they do to them in that culture and in those beliefs. Like it's so different, and that makes me wonder, like, I wonder if people would still feel the same way about it, because it's interesting, right? Now that we bring this up, my dad, he loves watching all this type of like weird shit when he watches TV, and there's this channel, and it's weird because it's in Spanish, but they get all these people that come from all walks of life, right? You got people that there's a guy who studies like Buddhism, right? Somebody who's involved with the Jewish community, somebody that's involved with, with the Arabs, Islam, everything, bro. All these fucking people. And they sit them in a round table, and all they do is they just talk about their beliefs, and they talk about like, hey, whether it's debates or not, it's just a discussion. And I find that so interesting because when I've talked to certain people, like especially in terms of like religion, just in beliefs and stuff like that, I always go like, why is it that people just, when they're involved in their religion or in their beliefs in general, like even if it's religious or not, it's like they got to talk to you as if you're wrong for living the life that you're living. But it's like, dude, you don't know a single thing about me. And how do you just label that on a person right off the bat, right? Like it's really it's one of those things that I'll just never understand about people in general, because it's like you said, they're looking like, oh, you're beneath me. Yeah, it's the cult mentality. And to me, it's like, if I was put on Earth, right? My belief is, with my personal relationship with God or whatever is out there, I would want to believe that whoever's the higher being would have wanted me to have learned and honestly learn as much as possible from all these different cultures and all these different things. Because what do we win with just fucking saying, oh, fuck these people, fuck that, whatever, but we got to be inclusive? What the fuck is message? Yeah. What type of message are we putting out there, bro? Yeah. It's like, okay, for the
love thy neighbor, but fucking kill all the boys. I want all the boys gone.
It's like for that type of belief system, right, that I have, that I look at things the way that I do. It honestly, like, it astonishes me how someone from a different upbringing will look at things, and the way that they look at right and wrong will be completely different than mine. But I can understand where they're coming from, obviously, because it's a different upbringing. It's not the same. So when you look at this country and you see the melting pot of what it is with all these cultures and all these people, it's like, how do you expect it to balance out? It's really not, because everybody's going to be on a different page. That's just how it is, right? We talk about, oh, we got to fix the economy. No, well, we got to fix stuff with immigration. No, yeah, well, we got to fix stuff with civil rights first, because, we're still hurting from that. Yeah, well, we still got to deal with the Native Americans because we kind of fucked them over since the beginning. Yeah, well, what about the vets? What about the vets, right? Yeah, well, what about disabled people or special needs kids? Yeah, well, what about autism and everything? It's like, bro, it just never ends, because there's so many things to attend to. And unfortunately, this government doesn't focus on that, right? This country just does a better job at dividing everyone, right? Like you go to school cafeteria, ADHD. It's like you go to a school cafeteria and all the kids have their own groups. That's what this country is. This country's been that way for a long ass time. And it's like I said, it's interesting now because a lot of people are kind of realizing, not only here, but in many other parts in the world, people are coming to their senses and going like, you know what, we're not going to stand for this anymore. Whether we agree with it or not, the changes are coming. And that's what's, pretty crazy about it. It's kind of scary, but it's, that's just how it's been, man.
But I mean, how much power, something like that. How much power do we give to the powers that be? Because very rarely when a government takes, or some authority takes some sort of power, very, very rarely do they give it right back up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the shitty part, is that this system has existed for such a long time, even before this country was made. Like, it's happened for such a long time, and of course, we're never gonna know all of it. It's just we know bits and pieces here and there, and what follows is gonna be, who knows what's gonna follow, man. That's what makes me nervous all the time, right? Because like, even remembering the time of like 9/11 and all that stuff that happened, right? like as a kid, you don't understand it completely, but you go, something feels different. Because even looking back at it now, bro, ever since that happened, like my way, like of course I didn't live a full life at that point because I was only like 8 or 9, but like I remember just like how different shit started becoming. Like we used to travel all the time, we did this, we did that, but then there were security checks. You know, they passed the what was it, the Patriot Act, was it that it was called, with Homeland Security and all that stuff. So a lot of things were like, okay, you know, we got to check your shoes, we got to check this, we got to check that. If you give us a reason that we should look into your house, we're going to take it because of the name of terrorism. And it's like all these things started building up, and all you hear is these fear stories. It's another fear story here. The news are like, oh yeah, you gotta, you know, be careful out there. There's like another robbery, another this, another bombing, another that. And then you're like, fuck, why? I'm not gonna go anywhere. Fuck that. You know, I don't want to talk to my neighbor. I don't want to talk to anybody. And it just started dividing more and more. Whereas like before, like even living up north, like there was such a sense of community and everything else. And it's like down here, it's not really the same. Like you can experience that here or there, but it's not the same because everything's spread out. Everything's more like, hey, you do you, I do me. That's it, right? Like that's just how it feels now. And I feel like with each like couple years or so, it's like another shift in that direction where it's like we're just ending more divided than we have been united, you know. And it's not even just saying it as like a patriotic way, it's just as a people you would think, hey, we should come together and work these things out, instead of just like, no, I'm not going to listen to you because you think this is more important than this. It's like, motherfucker, they're all important, but like work with me here, you know. Work with me here. But nobody wants
groups
to work.
get jealous with one another, like, oh, why is he attending to him and not attending to him? I'm fucking special. It's like,
so to get back in terms of more of like a like movies, right? If we want to talk about movies.
Let's end it on a good note, on a happy note.
Yeah. So funny enough, because I like making fun of these things, with Disney in particular, they had that Black Widow movie come out, Scarlett Johansson, right? All that stuff. Oh, it's gonna be great. She ended up suing Disney.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's interesting because even in this whole cultural shift, even like what I'm talking about, and like consuming media and just all this stuff, streaming now has been at an all-time high. And now these people that have done their craft, mind you, I don't really care about them per se. It's just more interesting for the people that want to get into that industry and into those, you know, into that field. Streaming wise, they're going to be paying people a lot less because these things just keep churning out, bro. There's more TV shows and more bullshit out there than anything. And it's like Scarlett Johansson's expecting like a, you know, $30 million paycheck or some shit to come through the mail. Oh, the box office returns have been in the shitter. Your movie barely made any money. So Disney's not going to, you know, pay you much. But for only $30, you guys can stream it from home and we get all the rewards. So it's like, oh, how fucked up is that now? That's not part of the contract. Well, you signed the contract back in 2016 and, well, you know, it didn't apply for the whole streaming thing. That was a new thing. Oh, well, fuck you. I'm going to sue you now. And that's how a lot of these actors are going to do this stuff now. And you're going to see a lot of new names and a lot of newer, fresh faces because they're going to go this direction of paying people less, going for the people that are really hungry for it, but at the same time screwing them over. It's not just Disney. It's going to be Amazon. It's going to be so many people, dude. Amazon's looking at, because you know me, I'm a new movie buff. I love going into this stuff. Amazon implemented a policy now that it's to be more diverse with their casting choices. So it's like 50% of the casting crew have to be, you know, of a different background. I'm not kidding, bro. You can search this up. It's out there. It's got to be like about 35. There's like 35% or more have to include female characters, and they have to be LGBT. Really? I'm not kidding, bro. Look this up. It's out there. It's there, and they're implementing it.
Damn, Scarlett Johansson's so beautiful, bro.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. But it's getting into this shift where like, and I'll give you a best example of this. There was an animated movie that came out, an anime called Demon Slayer that came out with a movie. That movie made, take a rough guess how much that movie made in pandemic time, how much that movie made.
Demon Slayer on Netflix?
No, and the movies, bro. I'm talking about premiered in cinema.
No, I don't know.
Take a rough guess. Pandemic time. To give you context, that Cruella movie that came out with Emma Stone only made about roughly 50 million. right? 50
Damn.
million.
Okay, so
But that Demon Slayer movie, take a rough guess how much that movie made.
is it popular? Maybe like 50 million? I don't know.
It's popular, but for people that like anime and stuff, it's really popular right now.
Like 100 million?
500 million.
God dang.
Global box office, 500 million. People wanted to come out and say, "Oh, this Disney movie didn't do so good because the pandemic and nobody wants to go to the movies." Explain $500 million for Demon Slayer. Yes, it's one of the newer like animes that have come out as of late, and they came out with a movie. And bro, globally, to make that much money and be that socially relevant compared to fucking Cruella, Black Widow, a Marvel movie, for it to not even crack any of those numbers, there's a cultural,
and the budget was 15 million. That's crazy, bro.
There is a shift happening. Comic books are not as popular anymore. American TV and media is not as popular anymore. People want an escapism. They want the escapism. They want to escape to another world. Why would you want to watch a movie where then Nicolas Cage, our Lord and Savior Nicolas Cage, turns at the fucking camera and then looks at us and says, women should be treated better? It's like, bro, I know. Like, we know this. Yeah. We know this. Like, don't lecture me. Don't make me feel like a piece of shit. I'm here to watch a movie and I want to see you kick some ass. Yeah, right? I'm here to have a good time. Yeah. So it's
he was in that movie Kick-Ass, wasn't he too, right?
Yes, he was in that movie Kick-Ass. Yeah. Good fucking movie.
Such a great actor.
But that's my point. It's like there's that shift happening where now, bro, the manga sales for all the books and shit for anime skyrocketing, bro. Skyrocketing, beating DC and Marvel in those comic book sales.
So the future is Japanese. Is that what you're trying to say?
Pretty much, bro. We're fucking going there, bro. Fucking Ghost in the Shell type of shit. It's like, but that's what I mean. It's interesting because it's like I said, there's that thing where people are just getting tired of the shit that they're being fed and they want an alternative. And now they're like, Hollywood's going to see this shit and go, well, I guess we got to fucking do all this Japanese shit now. And then they're going to try their best and they're just going to fail because that's just not how it is, bro. People just want an escape from their regular life. They don't want to hear any more about COVID. They don't want to hear about anything about any of this shit. They just want to have a good time. And if they're going to seek alternatives.
So we'll end it on that note and just wait for it and check out, once it does come out, the COVID hentai strain that's going to be coming out soon.
The next time we get on, I swear, this is going to be something with Kanye and fucking...
No, next time we get on, it's going to be like 50% of the vaccinated people fucking developed into zombies and they're eating... the other
you're gonna see me with scales and shit. You're gonna see me with scales.
So there's gonna be some crazy shit. So I had a lot of fun with this one. You want to plug in your info again? So
absolutely. At Daniel Rockstar, search me up, Instagram, Facebook, wherever else, YouTube, the Twitch.tv/Daniel Rockstar. I stream from about Tuesdays and Thursdays sometimes. Gonna kind of clean up that schedule, but we'll get there. So thank you for having me on, bro.
Yeah, we'll look to have you back on again and
at the next historical event.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on, bro.
You got it, bro. Anytime.